Let's go on the trail of the seahorse. Many people think that the seahorse is an animal they can make a bet on. Or they look for something as large as a horse, or at least as large as a pony. There is a resemblance, but not what you would expect. Here at the New York Aquarium, these strange creatures may be found living in small glass tanks. Millions of people yearly visit the aquarium for education, amusement, or merely to satisfy their curiosity. What is a seahorse? Where does it come from? How big is it? These and many other similar questions are asked and answered at the aquarium information desk. Many stories have been written about the seahorse, and newspaper and magazine writers are frequent visitors to the aquarium. At the information desk, where everyone inquires for their particular fancy, reporters find much to write about. Here is one asking something about seahorses, evidently, while the attendant is showing her some of the preserved seahorses visitors carry home as mementos. This young lady is not satisfied with dried seahorses, so a guard takes her to a tank in which seahorses are being fed. These odd little creatures, difficult to feed, for they will eat only living, minute shrimp-like animals. Other small fishes do not bother the seahorse, which is one of nature's anomalies. For instance, the skeleton of the seahorse is on the outside of its body. The male seahorse carries a brood pouch, like a kangaroo, from which the young colts escape when they feel they can go it alone. There's the pouch. The seahorse is a sedate animal and feeds slowly and with dignity. These other fishes will catch all its food, for they do not believe in such formality. This feeding is a slow process, but it must be done by hand, for seahorses are difficult to get, and it would never do to have them die of hunger. See how this lady seahorse holds on to her man? These particular fish came from the Gulf of Mexico. Maybe the lady feels nervous so far from home. Oh, they missed that choice morsel. Got one that time, and Papa Seahorse seems to enjoy it. Now Mama Seahorse got one. But she missed that one. She who hesitates loses out. But she does not have a couple of hundred baby seahorses weighing down her lower chest and can afford it. Here we have a family hunt for gamaras, which is the name of the only food the seahorse will eat. Some gentlemen wish their wives would help, as this one does. The reporter, still with us, asks where seahorses come from. Do they only come from the tropics? On the contrary is the reply, most of them come from within 50 miles of New York City. Just follow this line drawn on the map. Sayville, that's where they come from. And here we are at the little old town of Sayville, where old and new are inextricably mixed. Our reporter is greeted by Mrs. Collins and Captain Dan Collins. The captain has been a sailor for over 50 years, and for the past 30 has been catching seahorses, so that the visitors to the aquarium could see what they look like. Captain Dan takes our reporter out to his boat. A last wave to his wife, and they're off. Down the river, passing the gill nets along the shore, and down past a small ferry boat into the great South Bay. Here's a pound net catching fish for market and for gulls, too. These gulls levy tribute on all caught fish, but earn their keep by cleaning up great quantities of refuse. These gulls seem to have adopted our game of leapfrog, or maybe it's a fancy game of checkers. Come on, it's your jump. The gulls are not the only ones jumping. Our deckhand seems hopping mad. He's trying to chase those gulls away from an unearned dinner. There's another pound net in the distance. We may stop and see if they have any seahorses. Hauling in the nets, which contain chiefly menhaden or moss bunkers, their oily content makes them fit only for glue or fertilizer. Captain Collins started his career as a cook on just such a fishing craft. There's plenty of fish, but not one seahorse. Shark! He's inside the net, and see how he struggles to get through. Even if he breaks through, a valuable net will be ruined. When this fellow shows up, the smaller fish look for other pastures. He's still trying to get through that net. Overboard to try some drastic measures to save the net and get rid of Mr. Shark. Look at those rows of gleaming, murderous teeth. If they could get this scoop net over him, the rest would be easy. But he's away just in time. Still tugging at the net and getting more angry by the minute. Overboard again, this time to release the bottom and sides of the net before the shark makes his own hole. There's an opening. Go on through, you. Would be better for all concerned. You'd have your freedom, and the net would be saved for the fishermen. There he goes, helped by our diver, but certainly no one envies him his job. Heading for the open sea, none the worse or wiser for his experience. Yes, all wet, but he saved the net. Back on deck and back to our own real task. We want some seahorses. A special dredge net designed by Captain Collins is put overboard. And the boat is pulled along slowly, as the propellers would cause too much disturbance and chase the fish away. Our reporter wants a stroll on the bottom, and here's the latest in Easter bonnets for ocean strolling. A heavy metal helmet with a glass plate in front and an air hose connected to a pump at the top. Here she comes, and very carefully, too. And those fish are really inquisitive but cautious, as she's probably the strangest newcomer they've ever seen. Here are the fellows we're interested in, seahorses, on their own home grounds. They live in these clumps of eelgrass and ulva, or sea lettuce, because in this vegetation, gammarus are also to be found in quantities. These fish seem to move about without apparent effort, but they propel themselves by rapid movements of the dorsal or back fin, which moves so fast that it seems to stand still. Our reporter has become acclimated by now and attempts a game of tag with various fish. But strangely enough, they don't want to play. These eelgrass beds were attacked by some mysterious disease and almost wiped out a few years ago. The progress of this disease apparently has been checked, and once again, eelgrass is more plentiful. The net sometimes is caught on weeds and must be released from above by gentle tugs on the line. Finally, the time arrives to haul up and see what the catch amounts to. Once on board, it's emptied. The captain gives the first seahorse to our reporter, who promptly and carefully places it in a pail of water and seaweed. Not until the afternoon shadows lengthen into twilight are we ready to turn homeward. May we wish you smooth sailing then, Captain Daniel Collins, in your future work of trailing the Seahorse.